CBS Fox Video presents a home video preview.
I'm Benji.
And I'm Frank Inn. We're here to introduce the original Benji. This is the first of the series of Benji movies that we made, and we hope that you and your family enjoy watching it. In the movie, Benji tries to rescue two small children who've been kidnapped. And you can imagine there's lots of action ahead. Are you ready, Benji? Well, speak to him. You bet, and so am I. Let's watch.
And now Peter Breck in Benji, with limited commercial interruptions. Gary Cooper, Barbara Stanwyck, and Anthony Quinn star in the adventure Blowing Wild on the next Saturday Night Movie. KTTV Los Angeles. This is Fox News at 10 with Kirsty Wilde and Bill Redeker.
Kids Club.
Rusty the Fox here to let you know some lucky Fox 5 Kids Club members will be winning tickets to see the exciting Monster Truck Challenge at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl on Saturday, June 29th. Real superstar monster trucks in fierce combat, Bigfoot Gravedigger, show-off, and many more. Plus, jet-powered ATVs, kamikaze, and turbine quad. Randomly selected Fox 5 Kids Club winners will be notified by mail week of June 24th. This message brought to you by McDonald's and the family of Fletcher Jones dealerships.
Don't go away. Disney's Tailspin will be right back after these messages.
And now back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Whoa! The turtles will be back after these messages. Smile. Better get back to the turtles.
Get me the turtles.
The turtles will be back after these messages.
And no. Back to turtles.
Week number 4 in the NFL, and it's Showdown Sunday. That means you better button your chin strap and pull up a chair. Otherwise, you might get stuck. It's the NFL on Fox. The Pack is definitely back, and they're flying high. With the help of Commander Brett, that is. For the Vikes, C squared is the formula to the end zone. San Fran's heart is its #1 team, but its soul is still Steve to his main man, Jerry. Meanwhile, Carolina's rockin', and Green and Latham will beat you like a drum. In Cactus Town, Mr. Esiason, have you met Mr. Graham? And for the Saints, Big Jim's looking for bigger days on the Bayou. On the Midway, Eric Kay's been struggling, but Robert Green's been grabbing those yards. Even so, Detroit's got the Sandman, who makes all your dreams come true. The G-Men have a reward out for their missing defense. Meanwhile, the Jets' Keyshawn has found his calling. In D.C., Gus has been good, but Senator Allen has been best. And then there's the Rams' defense, who are ready to stuff the ballot box. For the boys, Troy's not going to let Big D down, and with Emmett hustling, these stars can still shine. But the Bills got Mr. Reed going long. Mr. Smith is hoping not to come up short. Now, live from the Fox Television Center in Hollywood, 4 guys who talk the talk and walk the walk, even in their sleep. It's the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
It's week number 4, and 8 unbeaten teams remain in the NFL. And amazingly, yes, they're all matched up against each other this weekend. Now, today on Fox, it's the Packers and Vikes, both 3-0. They'll be fighting for the NFC Central's top spot, while the unbeaten Niners and Panthers, they'll be fighting out for first in the West. And later on, it's revenge time in Buffalo as the Cowboys and Bills will go at it. And welcome to Fox Television Center. Hello, everyone. I'm James Brown, along with my partners Terry, Ronnie, and Howie, welcoming you to Fox NFL Sunday. The Blonde Bomber came in here with a big smile. We thought it was for us, but it was for Louisiana Tech.
LA Tech. That's right. Went down Starkville, took care of a powerful, the maroon and white down there. Powerful. Jerry Clowers right now. Got to be devastated. The last time this happened, I believe, was 1969, when yours truly went down there, put on a tremendous display.
I was 9 years old when you put on that tremendous display. Who cares?
Age has not been kind to you, Flat Top.
All right, folks, now it's time for our Fox Watch. And with a total of 8 undefeated teams at this point, 6 of those teams are 3-0. It marks just the 5th time in NFL history this has happened. The last time it occurred 10 years ago. Now, 2 of those teams are the Packers and Vikings, who face one another today, and that's where we will begin our Fox Watch. Sam Rosen will be calling all the action from the Metrodome, and he's with us now. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, JB. It's 3-0 Green Bay, 3-0 Minnesota, and that spells excitement. It's exciting here in Minneapolis. This has been the lead story on the evening news, and we've got a sellout crowd, 25% of which could be Green Bay Packer fans. Strange things seem to happen in games between these 2 teams here at the Metrodome. Last year, Brett Favre went down with an ankle injury. His backup Ty Detmer was injured, so late in the game, 3rd-string emergency quarterback T.J. Rubley was in. He audibled and threw this interception, which led to the Vikings' game-winning field goal. 3 years ago, Jim McMahon, who's now with the Packers, was the Vikings quarterback, threw a Hail Mary. There was a defensive breakdown. It was complete. And the Vikings went on to win that game by a field goal. They've won the last 3 games by a total of 8 points. Coach Mike Holmgren of the Packers wanted to change things up. He changed practice times. He changed the hotel that the team stayed in. For Minnesota, Warren Moon's ankle is getting better. He threw away one of his orthotics. There's a battle of 2 undefeated teams in Charlotte. For that, let's go to Dick Stockton.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. In first place is at stake, the 49ers, and hard to believe, yes, the Carolina Panthers as well. Both teams coming off the bye week, and it couldn't come at a better time for Steve Young, who suffered the pulled groin muscle against the Rams 2 weeks ago. Started practicing Wednesday. He says he's ready to go, although he told us yesterday you never really know until you play. As far as the Panthers are concerned, the bye week did not help Kerry Collins, their second-year quarterback, who is out with a sprained knee. There is Collins on the sideline, and And instead, it'll be Steve Berline going today, the veteran for the Carolina Panthers. This is the 5th team he has started at quarterback for. Speaking of the bye week, the 49ers have struggled coming off the week not playing. In fact, they have dropped 4 of the last 6 games following the bye week, including a very tough loss against the Colts on the road last year. But as George Seifert, the coach of the Niners, told us yesterday, at least Carolina also coming off a bye week themselves. That's the story here. They're revved up in Carolina. Let's send you to St. Louis and Kenny Albert.
Thanks, Dick. Like the Panthers and the 49ers, the Rams were also off last week, but the Redskins routed the Giants. Washington looking for their 3rd consecutive victory today, and they'll do it against a St. Louis squad ranked dead last in the NFL offensively, but quarterback Steve Walsh says his elbow is okay. Now, the Rams will need more production from their first-round draft pick, Lawrence Phillips, only 61 yards over the first 2 games. Phillips will line up deeper in the backfield today in order to read his holes better. Now, no problems whatsoever on the ground for the Redskins. Terry Allen, 340 yards. He leads the NFL, and the Rams to a man say, we'll let Gus Frerotte, the quarterback, beat us, but we do not want Terry Allen to beat us. Now let's head to the Meadowlands and Mike Breen.
Thank you, Kenny. Heavy rains at the Meadowlands today as the Jets host the Giants. Poor conditions for teams off to very poor starts, and they have taken a beating in the media this week in New York. Headline in the tabloid today, stinker in the swamp. One positive, though, the quarterbacks of each team, Dave Brown of the Giants, Neil O'Donnell of the Jets, both grew up in New Jersey and know how tough it can be in New York. As for the injury problems, Jets really concerned with their defensive line. All 4 starters in some trouble. Marvin Washington and Matt Brock both questionable this week. Mike Chelensky injured earlier in the week. He missed a couple of days of practice. That is a real concern for the New York Jets. They are desperate for wins, both of these teams. As for the loser, there is not a pothole big enough in New York for them to crawl into if they drop this one. Now let's go to Eric Clemens in New Orleans.
All right, Mike, the big story here at the Louisiana Superdome as the winless Saints prepare to host the winless Cardinals is Arizona's change at the key position. Coach Vince Tobin is going with Kent Graham over his beleaguered veteran Boomer Esiason at the quarterback spot, and Tobin says this is not going to be just a one-game experiment. Meanwhile, the Saints will try to jumpstart their running game. Out is Mario Bates as a starter, their leading rusher for 2 years. In is Ray Zellers. He's going to handle the halfback load today. That's the story from here at the Superdome. Now let's send it back to our Fox television centers in Hollywood and James Brown. JB?
All right, Eric. And in the second game of our doubleheader, now most of you will see Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys facing the Bills and their defense led by that man, Bruce Smith, looking to add to his 5-sack total. Now, the rest of you will get a big Central Division matchup as the Bears and the Lions square off. Both teams 1 and 2, desperately in need of a win. As we come back inside to talk about that Bears and Lions game.
Where champions are crowned, where dreams come true. You're watching Fox Sports. It's week 13 in the NFL, and as the country gets colder, the playoff race gets cooking right here. It's the NFL on Fox. The first-place Falcons wham with the Rams, and one more win turns dirty birds into playoff birds. Shazam! The Maltese Falcon is off to its best start ever, and when you can run it, throw it, catch it, you are officially Lombardi contenders. First place in the AFC East is a 3-headed monster, but there's only one monster in Miami. That's right, Dan's still the dude, but the saintly ones are parading for a wild card spot. The Bayou Boys battle the fish. Another first-place team is the Green Machine, as Gang Green gangs up on the Panthers. The planes are flying high with a catching combo called the Man and the Mascot. The Chiefs are Chiefs in turmoil, but now Marty's men look to shake their losing streak. While in Zona, this serpent is poisonous. The Cards continue their wild card quest against KC. My kind of town, Chicago is. Tampa Bay hits the Windy City, and another loss by the Bucs will have Tony screaming, "Well, blow me down." Later, the Cheeseheads look to smile again against the Cheese Steaks. 1 week the Vikes, and then the Eagles. Yeah, gee, that'll make Favre's frown turn around. Just Win Baby is alive and well, and the Black and Silver are in a playoff dogfight. But hey, there's no Waterloo for Oakland's Little Napoleon. In a rematch of Super Bowl 18, the Redskins and Raiders ran.
Well, with the playoff races heating up, so is the NFL on Fox. Today, the dancing Falcons can boogie down to the postseason. The Bucs playoff ship tries to stay afloat. The Cards hope their wild card comes up aces, while the Jets want to keep flying to a divisional title. Then later, the Saints pray to stay in the wild card race, and the slumping pack looks to get it back. It's all right here on Fox. And hello again, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to our lucky Week 13 edition of Fox NFL Sunday. And joining me, as always, my three lucky charms, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Chris. Chris, why are you chuckling?
You guys always hold it. You don't see Howie and I over here doing the hand.
Because we love one another. We love one another.
That's a cover-up.
Lucky Week 13.
Lucky Week 13th. Came out here on the 13th, on flight 13th, and sat in seat 13th.
No, it's flight 13, seat 13. And you flew out on the 13th.
You too? We need to get my man a new shirt. Same shirt we wore the show Thursday.
Oh, don't get him started.
I'll chip in.
I'll give 20.
10.
Does it smell?
Not a thing. I'm the lowest paid guy out here. Not a thing.
Does it smell bad? Does it smell bad?
It's got a little odor to it, bub.
Now that Thanksgiving is over, it's time to start paying closer attention to the playoff picture. So let's set the stage for you. In the NFC, the 11-1 Vikings are looking at home field advantage throughout the playoffs and a first-round bye. Atlanta controls the West and the other first-round bye, and a Falcons win today clinches a playoff spot. The Cowboys lead the East. Now, the wild card looks like this. San Francisco's on top with hopes of still winning the West. Green Bay appears to be a shoo-in for a wild card, but they're looking at no playoff games at Lambeau. And the Arizona Cardinals, looking for their first playoff appearance since '82, are a game up on the Saints for the last spot. In the AFC, the undefeated Broncos can wrap up the West with the win over the Chargers tonight. Jacksonville leads the Central, and three teams are tied for first in the East. Right now, the Jets have the best division record. That, of course, is the first tiebreaker after head-to-head records. Miami and Buffalo, the other two teams, tie for first in the East, along with Howie's Raiders, lead the AFC wildcard race. And in Pittsburgh, TB,
there you go.
I guess they now have the terrible toss to go along with the terrible towel. But, folks, was it a terrible toss? Just what did referee Phil Luckett hear? Well, we tried to find out, and we took the tape to our audio bay to try and hear what was actually said on the field on Thursday. Now, listen carefully to what referee Phil Luckett heard.
Call it plays in the air. Heads is the call. He said heads. It is a tails.
I believe he said tails.
Now, Jerome Bettis admitted on the sidelines to Coach Bill Cowher that he did say, tails before the coin went up.
That explains it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chris. Now,
it.
Terry, does that exonerate Phil Luckett then?
Well, it does. You screw up heads or a tail. Let me see the heads or tails. You understand one thing. Yes, maybe it does, but I heard tails. Everybody heard tails. But if he said, that could throw him off. But Gordon McCarter was the last referee to lose a game check because of, remember, he threw the penalty against the Steelers in '95 saying they had too many men on the field, when in fact they didn't. But Luckett is under investigation. The league is looking into this, and he very well could be, Chris, the first referee in the history of the NFL to be suspended.
Well, it's a time-honored tradition in the NFL that you call the toss in the air. My question is, why? Why not go to Jerome Bettis and say, heads or tails? Tails. Okay, now we toss the coin, get it right. The whole thing's silly. This is the silliest thing I've ever seen in the league.
It took us a while, but we finally got back at you Steelers for that immaculate reception.
What? You got a mouse in your pocket? What are you talking about?
That's
the old
right.
Conspiracy theory.
That's right. You backdoored in there on that one off the head, you know.
Partner, do you realize that was drawn up? That was drawn up and deliberately. You know what? You weren't even involved in that. What do you care?
I wasn't born.
You know what? I know we pushed the edge a little bit, but what are you saying, Howie, with a mouse in his pocket?
We.
All right,
Sorry,
time
JB.
now for our Fox Watch, and we begin in St. Louis, where the Rams are set to face the 8-2 NFC West leading Atlanta Falcons. Who would have thought we would have been using that expression to talk about the Falcons at the beginning of the season? But all is not well with the Falcons because of quarterback Chris Chandler's ankle injury. Calling today's game is Kurt Menefee, and hello, Kurt.
Hello, JB, and here the Trans World Dome in St. Louis doesn't have a nifty nickname, but today it could be called the House of Pain, at least on the injury front. Falcon quarterback Chris Chandler, still nursing a sprained knee and ankle, will not start today. Replacing him is second-year man Tony Graziani, usually the third-team quarterback. He'll make just his second NFL start. On the defensive side for the Falcons, back from a sprained knee, is right cornerback Ronnie Bradford. He will make his first start in a month, replacing Michael Booker. The St. Louis Rams had some injury concerns of their own when quarterback Tony Banks sprained both ankles last week, but he will make his 41st consecutive start this week against the Falcons. Now to Chicago and Sam Rosen.
Thanks very much, Kurt. Here in Chicago, it's Tampa-like weather, 66 degrees, and it may get even warmer as the day goes on. For the Chicago Bears, Moses will lead them today. Moses Moreno, 7th-round draft pick out of Colorado State, 232nd player drafted this year, would make his first NFL start. He played 3 plays 2 weeks ago in Detroit. His linemen say he's composed and is a take-charge guy in the huddle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a change on defense. With Anthony Parker still out, Donnie Abraham will start with a sore knee. Hardy Nickerson done for the season. Jamie Duncan makes his second NFL start. That's it here in Chicago. Let's go to the Meadowlands to Ray Bentley.
Thank you, Sam. The Carolina Panthers will try to play the role of the spoiler and shoot down the first-place Jets here in New York today. This will be the Jets' first game at home since the passing of their legendary Hall of Fame coach, Weeb Ewbank. Passed away last week at the age of 91, and Weeb led the Jets to their last divisional titles in 1968 and 69. He did it by winning at home. The Jets will honor their former coach today by wearing this patch on the back of the helmet. Currently, the Jets are in a 3-way tie in the AFC East for first place, and Coach Bill Parcells has done it at home, a 4-1 record here at the Meadowlands. And he thinks the fans are starting to learn how to develop a home field advantage for this team. And it won't hurt having the spirit of Weeb Ewbank in the mix today. Let's go to Tim Ryan in Kansas City.
Thanks, Ray. A breezy day, as you can see here in Kansas City, but temperatures approaching 70 degrees. The Chiefs will take on the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals on a roll in the wild card playoff hunt under Jake Plummer at quarterback. They have rolled up 34 points in the game in the last 3 weeks, and that is best in the league. However, defensively, the strength of their team earlier in the year, they've given up 34.7 the last 3 weeks, and that is last in the league. Last week against Washington, they were burned badly in the secondary as the Redskins came back and nearly won that game. So changes today. It'll be Kwame Lassiter moving ahead of the rookie Pat Tillman in the safety spot. Corey Chavis goes to the corner, the rookie from Vanderbilt, taking the place of Tom Knight and J.B. Brown. So that's the story here in Kansas City. They're looking for a win. They've lost 6 in a row, J.B.
All right, Tim, I know they're looking to turn it around. Later today, most of you will see the first-place Dolphins hosting the playoff-hungry Saints. Others will catch the Packers and the Eagles at Lambeau or the Redskins. I don't think I can say that they're raiding the Raiders. All right, folks, in the Packers game, it'll be the return of running back Dorsey Levens. He's been out since week 2 with a broken leg. Levens has been practicing with the team for the past couple of weeks, and look for him today to get, somewhere between 5 and 10 plays. And as we come back in to talk about that, Howie, 11 weeks he has indeed been out. Levens, clearly Green Bay needs him if they've got serious thoughts in the postseason.
Yeah, they've got to start getting him ready. And in talking to the Packers, they felt that when he came back, he would be ready to play. He would not be rushed. I think the mistake they made before was overusing him after the holdout, and I think that in some way had an effect on him being injured. This offense is not the same. Brooks has been banged up. Schrader stepped in as a number 2 receiver. They get Mays back, and I'll tell you what, the other thing, this guy Davis, converted wide receiver from Virginia, has been a big key to this offense. If they're going to compete with Minnesota down the road, especially in Minnesota, they have to get this offense rolling on all cylinders.
Why Dorsey Levens today? I mean, they could play Dorsey Levens at quarterback and beat Philadelphia today. Why rush?
I got an idea. Let's rest the whole league and get them ready for next week.
No, you got to get ready for the playoffs down the road.
Atlanta, St. Louis. Atlanta, St. Louis. We already talked about Chandler being out with the ankle injury, but Tony Graziani gets to start as opposed to Steve DeBerg.
And why Tony Graziani, I have no idea. His last start last year went 4 for 18 with 2 interceptions for 24 yards, got benched at halftime. Steve DeBerg has already won 1 game for you in relief so so far this season, had a bad outing against the Jets. Well, guess what? A lot of quarterbacks have had bad outings against this Jets defense this year. Just asked Steve McNair last week, got absolutely none. I would be with Steve DeBerg today, absolutely.
Put me on a jet, let me run down to St. Louis. I won the game real quick before I be back for postgame. All right with y'all?
You're that good.
Hey, not that good, but I just think I can
get back for postgame.
You know what, this Atlanta defense...
Take the rest of the day off,
Just a second. I got something to say. I have studied this Atlanta defense till it is... They remind me of a warthog. You know what a warthog is? A little bitty tiny thing, got a tush hanging out its lips, and when you see it, got a tush. And when you see it, you just want to slap it because you don't fear it. It's a little bitty thing. But this is what they are. They're like warthogs. They will not, and they're vicious. You corner them, and they get after you. That's the Atlanta defense. They're not, you ever seen a warthog?
Hey, Howie, in D.C., I don't think I've ever seen a warthog.
Well, that's this Atlanta defense. The only problem is we got to come up with some cheerleaders that goes with a warthog, and I don't know what that'd be.
How long has this been? I've only been here a year.
Howie's going, what's a warthog? I'm telling you, everybody in here knows what a warthog is.
We're just getting started in today's show talking about warthogs, so let's find out what else is on tap.
Coming up next on the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
They've got talent up the gazoo, and they're the talk of the NFL. But can the Denver Broncos go undefeated for an entire season? Susie Colbert talks to the Mile High men who are getting close to making history. And they're two very different receivers. We'll talk with the athletic and loud Jet.
I got a hell of a reputation, don't I?
As well as the overachieving and quiet Jet. Then they said he's done. But now the only thing done for Dan Marino is all the he's done talk. Terry Bradshaw gives Dan the Man directions to Canton, Ohio, as these QBs go one-on-one. Coming up, coming at you, the one and only Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Gateway. Let's talk about your Gateway. By Pizza Hut, home of the stuffed crust pizza, the most fun you can have with a pizza. By National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by Energizer Advanced Formula Batteries. No battery lasts longer.
The votes are in, and the nominees for Howie Long's Viewer's Choice Tough Guys are Randall, Davis, Emmett, Jamal, and Favre. That's right. You, the fan, picked these finalists, and now you, the fan, have one last chance to decide the NFL's toughest guy. Just go online to foxsports.com, cast your last chance vote, and you may win a chance to meet the Viewer's Choice Tough Guy in person. Back with Slippery Footballs after this. And in opposite directions. Boy, these guys are unbelievable. The Panthers are 2-9, while the Jets are in prime position to win their first division title since the merger. Speaking of opposites, the Jets are led by their odd couple wide receiver duo, Wayne Chrebet and Keyshawn Johnson. And Chris, these guys are definitely different, but they get it done.
And this Jets offense this year on a roll with a quarterback that, think about it, at the end of last year, nobody wanted, and two wide receivers who absolutely could not be more different. What makes Wayne Chrebet and Keyshawn Johnson dangerous is the fact that they are both smart and tough.
But I'm more of the guy who's going across the middle. He's a little more deeper downfield sometimes.
He's asked to run a little more intermediate routes than I am. You know, I'm asked to do the same thing, but I think I'm asked to stretch the field as well, get up in there and bang with the big boys, the DBs, you know, the safeties.
Two receivers, one ball. Something has to give.
Well, I think Keyshawn Lowry's a little more for the ball. You know, I think Wayne is in his own way reminds me that he's getting open. You know, he'll come back and let me know, hey, I can beat this coverage.
Their lockers are next to each other, but the guys march to the beat of different drummers.
Beastie Boys, that's probably my favorite, the Beastie Boys.
I listen to Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls. I love rap music. Our relationship is a work relationship. The media wants to blow it out. They want to continue to ask that question over and over again. You know, you and Wayne this, you and Wayne that. We don't even worry about it. We go and play our game and have fun playing the game.
I agree with that. You know, people think that we have a disagreement about the book when actually when he first came in, before even that came about, we weren't ever going to go out and get pizzas. That's just how it was.
Any hard feelings that might have resulted from the labeling of Wayne as the team mascot in Keyshawn's book have been paved over, at least on the field.
On the field, you know, it's all business, and you know, we root for each other. We'll knock each other's, you know, butts off trying to, you know, make plays for each other.
Keyshawn always seems to be a lightning rod for attention. Take this week's headline in the New York Post. No, not that headline, over there. That headline.
This is New York. Anytime you sit and you will pick this up on the stand and you read this, the first thing you say, oh God, it's about 6 of us that said the same thing, but because I'm the guy on the team, I'm Keyshawn Johnson, the first thing everyone wants to do is run out and say, this is what I'm saying.
I guess he's one of the only people on the team would speak up and say something like that. Do I think we can win every game the rest of the way? You know, if we come with our game face on every week, you know, we have a good chance.
And if the AFC's leading pass-catching duo help the Jets run the table, I can only imagine what the New York Post headline and sub-headline will be. You know, Wayne Chrebet being called a mascot by his teammate, I don't care who you are, you're never going to forget that. But I'll say one thing about Keyshawn Johnson. The guy doesn't care what anybody thinks, and after he wrote that book, I called him about every name in the book on the air, and he came in the room and he confronted me personally. Now, I've made a lot of guys mad over the years, but I've never had anybody just come walking right in, face to face, have it out. We did a little yelling, shook hands, over, done deal. He didn't send in the PR guy, didn't send in the coach, didn't not do the interview. I have some respect for that.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for his abilities as a football player, and also Chrebet is an outstanding third down receiver, and these two complement each other extremely well. It boggles my mind how Keyshawn would wonder why it's blown out of proportion. When you call your teammate the team mascot, and you love the attention as much as Keyshawn obviously does, people are going to put your name in headlines, and they're going to quote you.
And the 6 teams that they've played, the Jets this year, that had winning records, they have outscored them 150-58. But in the 3 losses, they lost to Baltimore, St. Louis, and they lost to Indianapolis. So it looks to me like the Jets rise to the occasion of the talent of the team they're playing. So figure that out. The great motivator, Bill Parcells. Carolina today. Close game.
Vinny Testaverde now 7-1 as a starter. Not surprising that there's no controversy involving Foley anymore.
No, I am so proud of Vinny Testaverde and all the mess he's had to go through in his career, and the job he's done, headed back to the Pro Bowl. A couple of years ago, the guy threw for 4,000 yards, and they say he can't play in the NFL.
You know what?
Ridiculous.
Chrebet may be able to get over the team mascot comment. As many names as you've called both Howie and Chris, and they still have
like
more.
You're talking about me?
Yeah. Yeah.
We go out to eat.
Don't like it, but we go out to eat.
All right, we still have a lot more coming, including a conversation with Dan Marino. He's a 9-time Pro Bowler, but he still hasn't found the one thing he's looking for.
I believe in my heart I'm going to get it. And, if I don't, I know I can look back and say that I've worked my butt off to get there and try to win a championship.
The guy tied with Dan Marino for first place in the AFC East, Vinny Testaverde. More when we come back in a moment.